All right, I'm now at this last section of this second Aliens lecture, and this is called Swarm, Stone, and Laser. And the concept of, I just want to mention this concept, which we'll see again in Haldeman, of a battlefield swarming. Swarming on a battlefield is one of the things which the American military and most standard conventional militaries don't know how to handle, because it is, they're not prepared for it. I mean, it represents basically the sort of the heart in many ways of fourth generation war, and it is the most difficult thing to deal with in some ways. And Hudson points this out, and the reason you'll see it again in Forever War is because they saw it in Vietnam. And so Hudson will say as follows. There we go.
How long after we're declared overdue can we expect a rescue?
17 days.
17 days? Hey, man, I don't want to rain on your parade. We're not going to last 17 hours. Those things are going to come in here just like they did before, and they're going to come in here, and they're going to come in here, and they're going to get us.
This description of, they're going to come in here and come in here and come in here like they did before is the description of a human wave, or a wave attack where there are successive waves and they just don't stop. And so it doesn't really matter how much ammunition you have. You can't shoot fast enough. And even if you use high explosives, unless you have a wall, unless you have basically a wall of people who are fighting a human wave attack, somebody's going to get past you. And this is what happened in Vietnam. And these human wave attacks were very fearsome. I mean, and it required absolute, just an incredible amount of courage and willpower on the part of the attackers, because basically you had to understand that you probably weren't going to make it. 1 in 10 might make it through one of these attacks. The Vietnamese carried to attack a fire base. They attacked at night to improve their chances. They had to get through mines, and they had to get through razor wire. And then they were running with bamboo ladders, which they would throw on the coils of concertina wire, which would catch you. I mean, you'd get caught in this thing and you just bleed to death. I mean, you would get cut up because they're basically covered with razors. Like they actually have, when they talk about razor wire, it actually has razor blades on it. I mean, those razor blades are sort of they're built into it. Have a look. Just Google razor wire. You'll see what I'm talking about. So they would throw the ladders on, and then sometimes the first person on would throw themselves on the ladder as well, and then people would run over them. So it's just an unbelievable way of attacking. But at the same time, the Americans couldn't overwhelm. The fire bases were overrun by human wave attacks, and often they weren't. But it was a terrifying tactic. So here are two pieces of film. One is from 1975, and this is actually one of the best examples of a human wave attack against a piece of high technology at the time. It's going to look the film is going to look a little, I don't know, you can see a lot how much rawer film looked in the 70s. This is an action movie. Okay, so here's this first piece. Have a look at this.
Get you, damn jumper! Got here! Their weight pulling us down! Get us the hell out of here!
Okay, and then the next famous human wave attack was in the so-called Battle of the Black Sea, which was made into the film Black Hawk Down, based on the Mark Bowden book Black Hawk Down, which is not a great book, but where an American squad basically gets caught in Somalia, in Mogadishu, and is getting cut to pieces. And they get caught because their Black Hawk goes down, and so the guys go in to get it.
There's a crowd advancing, 6, 7.
What you see here is the logic basically of how you fight a human in a human wave, and what that is, you run. If people are attacking you, if they've got better weapons than you back up. You know, why would you stand there and get killed? You don't be stupid. You know, so you run off. You know, so they point guns to you. You jump down. You run away. They use up their weapons. You come back and kill them. And of course, the way this is portrayed, and this is also a Ridley Scott movie, which is very interesting. And it's a Jerry Bruckheimer film as well. Is it Ridley Scott? Yeah, I think it is. I mean, you can tell it's Ridley Scott because it's so beautiful. But it's produced by Bruckheimer, and he is an idiot. I mean, Bruckheimer is this, doctrinaire, tub thumping, go kill them, go get one for the boys, and turns this whole story, which doesn't look at all like this, into this sort of Americans are great typical thing. So here's this guy who has been the pilot of this American war machine, and he's going to be killed, and he's looking at his picture of his family, and it's like, yeah, like the people he killed didn't have families too. It's like, buddy, wait, it's a war. So you're never allowed to sympathize with the mass. Now, you are much more in the Wilby conspiracy, the first one, where the African statesman behaves with real integrity. I mean, and that's the point about this. This is South Africa. Before Mandela was let out of prison and they began to sign the accords and all that stuff. Okay, so this concept of human wave attack, it's like, well, why am I showing you this? Well, I started off with Hudson, and here we go. Here it is in our current film. Okay.
Hell! Oh my God! Oh,
Give me the light.
So this final shot is another one of these jump scares, and the music comes in to freak you out. That's the job of that particular shriek of sort of violins, and is to make you jump. And we already know what we're going to see, which is that they look like bugs. And again, Heinlein is here, and the aliens are often portrayed as bugs. This is why Scott Card's book Ender's Game is so important, because the bugs are differentiated. I mean, they are individuals ultimately. The individual soldiers, no, but the queens, yes. So it is a hive mind against a unitary. It's a hive mind which is one intelligence, a unitary intelligence, against human beings, which are supposed to be these unusual. Everybody has their own identity, and that's the great sadness for human beings, is that we're all separate from each other, but at the same time we're all also autonomous, and so we all can choose our own destiny and so on. That's the greatness of human beings. I just saw Melissa McCarthy, Superintelligence, and I like Melissa McCarthy a lot. But it's interesting how much, and it's a funny movie. I mean, I support it. Please see it. It's James Corden is funny, and they're all good. But the issue is still the same. That essentially the robot, artificial intelligence, machine intelligence has to come to understand that the force of human love is greater than the force of human hate, and this is sort of the same old, and it doesn't break any new ground at all. In fact, it just reinforces old ground. So here we have this concept of this human wave, or wave attack, and as I say, when I saw this at the time, I thought, so much of this film is about Vietnam. Was it because Cameron essentially was following the Vietnam War? He was a Canadian, but he was, like all of us, affected by it, some more than others. He wasn't a veteran. See what you think.